All right. Good morning, everybody. Here we go. This is just a weekly Monday morning live stream I do for you guys out there, you construction guys. It's called Kicking Off the Week. First of all, good morning, boys and girls. Let's get this week started off right. It's 5 a.m. in the morning on Monday, 30th day of June, my father's birthday, 2025. Last day of June, we'll be moving into July. I appreciate anybody who stopped by on the last live stream. Appreciate you stopping by. If you come by this morning, make sure you give me a thumbs up. This is where we get together and acknowledge the grind that we all go through as construction workers. I know some of you already halfway through your first cup of coffee. So let's make this day and this week count. Now I'm still working on getting the format of this, and so I rely on y'all to give me feedback on the audio and video that you're receiving. Try it again. How about now? Okay. Yeah, I need to hide that. There we go. Yeah, I'm still having audio issues. I'm trying to figure out different things on this live stream. So I appreciate y'all working with me and watching me through this. So you know what the old saying is, if you're not green and growing, you're ripe and rotten. I learned that a very long time ago, and a professor gave it to me. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I know you're out there rolling. Some of you are having to pick up your coworkers and supervisors. You're out there rolling this morning, having to go pick up parts or materials and making sure the guys are rolling, going by the shop, getting tools that you're going to need for the day. All kinds of busy Monday mornings. Busy Monday mornings. After the weekend, man, some of us have been working 6 and 7 days a week. I know you guys are really, and I'll talk about that in a little while in one of the in the segment on safety. But I'm glad you guys are out there. I appreciate you getting out there and getting into the grind and helping to build things, build America, build businesses. You're working for a business, and if you're out, even if you're working for yourself and you're out there rolling this morning, and I know everybody wants to listen to the weather and to the news, and there are a million other outlets out there. But I've decided I wanted to get out here on Monday mornings and get with you guys, specifically you guys who are in the construction trades, construction, demolition, infrastructure, all that kind of stuff. It's tough being motivated out there every day. I got up at what time is it? It's 5. I got up at what time was that? 20 to 4 this morning. Had some coffee. Came down, tried to make some show notes to keep this thing rolling. Did a couple reports, trying to figure out what the trends are in our business and where the strengths are and where the weaknesses are. the U.S. construction long-term outlooks and things like that. What areas are going to be strong and which areas might be weak. Um, so to get up and do that, that requires a great deal of discipline. I could have rolled over and you could have rolled over this morning, but we didn't. We got out there and we knew what we had to do, and we jumped out and we're starting to roll and get things going. So it's self-discipline that requires a man or a woman to get up in the morning and get things going. Especially if you got you ladies who are single moms out there. God bless you. God bless you. Finding a sitter and getting somebody who can cover and watch the kids while you get out and hustle up a living for you and your children. God bless you. And you men who get out there and work and provide for your families, God bless you too. You're out there, you're hustling. You could have rolled over, and there's a lot of men who do. And I'm going to speak specifically to men right this moment. There's a lot of men who have the opportunity, got their full health, got all their faculties about them, and have a tendency to waste themselves by rolling over and going back to sleep because they were up all night doing something unproductive for their life. I don't know what it might be. Playing a 12-year-old on Fortnite or whatever. Playing some other video game all night long. Some of us scroll videos way into the night and just being entertained by TikTok. Now, I've got my phone in my face a great deal during the day, but I'm normally in a learning scenario. I'm not entertaining. Now, I do watch some entertaining stuff, but I could go through my search list on YouTube, and if you asked, I'll be more than willing to show it to you exactly what I look at. For me, entertainment is watching Route 9, Route Nueve. It's these guys who cook El Campo on a fire. And they're from the state of Michoacan in Mexico. And they're speaking Spanish, and I don't understand all of it, but I sure enjoy watching these guys do their cooking in the field and in the cuisine. I really enjoy that. So that's my form of entertainment. Of course, I'm 63 and not 23 or 33. I never had the thing with the games coming up. I've always had to do something else. Anyway, and it takes mental toughness when we get out there. The mental toughness game, to get up this time of the morning and start focusing on the things that are going to be done on your work today. What you start thinking when you're driving, most of you, especially supervisors and foremen, you're already planning in your head what tasks need to be done today, who you're going to assign to that task, what tools you're going to need, what materials are you going to be needing, and you're organized in that. Or you've probably already organized it last week or over the weekend in your head, and if you're one or two of the smart ones out there, you've jotted down some notes. You don't like to bother your guys on the weekend. I understand that. But they need to have instructions. So the earlier you get started, the better off your whole production is for the day. So that's mental toughness, and we get and we arrive on the job site and we're ready to go to work. Last week we talked about mutual respect on the job. Foremen and supervisors, these guys getting up in the morning and they're showing up on the job site You need to respect that. They could have, like we was talking about earlier, just rolled over and went back to sleep and said to you, figure it out. Instead, they're there. They're there. So offer them that respect. You know, I came up in a world where construction was mostly men, truck driving, construction, demolition. It was a manly world just because that's who was in it. And it's pretty much a manly world today. Now, there are some ladies out there who are getting involved, and we appreciate y'all being on site. You guys are capable of doing a lot of things. And there is a place for you. Not everybody can have the same job role at the same rate of pay. But if you're whatever that role pays, if you're capable of doing it, that's what you need to be paid for that role. And if you're capable of doing it, then by God, you ought to make enough noise where you get what you deserve out of it. And you need to be respected for taking that stance. Sometimes the company just doesn't have it in their bottom line to offer you that kind of money. And you may have to take the opportunity and move along and find some place who can pay you for your skill set. But if you don't have the skill set, you are in the opportunity to develop that skill set, which will increase your income as time goes along. So my thing is, stay with what you got until you become proficient at it, and then see what the free market will pay for the skill sets that you have. Just bumping around on a job thinking you have skill sets that you might not. Develop your skill sets. This is your opportunity. Also, your opportunity to continue growing in your own life, educating, getting education. There's lots of trade schools out there. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for you in the future if you develop. And I can talk about that. What things, HVAC, electricians, there's all kinds of opportunities out there for you if you educate yourself and get the training that you need. Because the construction industry is probably going to take on at least 60,000 a year, 70,000 a year. Now that's new. That doesn't include replacement for people who are retiring. And there's a lot of people out there retiring. So you young folks have a real opportunity here to increase stock in yourself. And if you study to be an electrician, a plumber, a carpenter, any trade, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you. So go ahead and start thinking about your life. And now focus on today, but also focus on your future, because you are the one who's in charge of your future. Nobody else has power over your future but you. The only guy who has power over you right now is the guy paying you to perform work. And you need to give him that respect. Now, I talked about supervisors and foremen respecting their guys in the field. That goes both ways. You guys in the field, you need to respect your foremen and supervisors. They have spent a great deal of time in their life to accumulate the knowledge and experience to put them in the place they're at. And they have worked hard. They've worked just as hard as you, if not harder, and they need to be respected. So when they issue you a set of instructions, you need to follow those instructions as closely as possible and help them make your team look successful. You want to be a part of a successful team. And to do that, it requires, now, if you are issued a set of instructions, this is a safety second here. If you're issued some instructions and you don't quite understand, stop. Say, hey, I'm not sure exactly what you have me doing. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. Can you give me some additional information or additional instructions to help me, or point me in the direction of one of my coworkers who does have experience in what you're asking me to do, who can offer me guidance on how to do this job well. I want to do the job good, and I need some help. Nothing wrong with that at all. And supervisors and foremen, if a man says that to you, you respect him because he's taking everybody's best interest in heart. All right. Safety. I know it's early in the morning. Early in the morning. And that's what I talked about in my safety video this past week. Mental fatigue and micro sleep. Let's take an example right here, right now, this morning, while we're driving into work. How many times in the past, I'm guilty, did you know exactly where you were going, have been there a dozen times or more, and have driven right past the road you were supposed to turn on, or driven right past the exit all the way in the left lane on the interstate and driven past your exit? And in rush hour traffic, you make that mistake, it's going to cost you big in time. You may end up being late on the job. So is that a mental fatigue? Is that micro sleep? Are you getting enough rest? Is your mind wandering on the task of the day? And is it a distraction? Let's look out for those kind of things. And when you get on the job site, talk about that with your guys. Most companies have a toolbox safety topic on Monday morning. Talk about mental fatigue. Been a weekend, right? If you worked 6 days last week and only had 1 day off, and you spent you went out and kicked it off on Saturday night after a long day, and then turned one on. You turned up, had a few cervezas, maybe you shot 2 of tequila and danced with your ladies, or took your family to dinner and had 2 or 3 beers or whatever, and then kind of slept in on Sunday. And then if you go to church, you got up and went to church, and then you had to spend Sunday afternoon taking care of the homestead, cutting grass, cleaning gutters, doing laundry, taking care of the children, all that stuff, man. It can wear you down. And now here it is right now. It's 5:15 in the morning, and you're already rolling in back at it again. It's hard to get your focus back after that, to get back focused, because your mind is still on the family things that you've had to do all week, or on Sunday, all the family things you had to do on Saturday and Sunday. And here you are back in the saddle again, and a lot of that stuff is still on your mind, whether you had a good time or a bad time. It's on your mind, and it's now this time of the day on your way to work. It's time to refocus for your safety, and for your benefit, and for the benefit of your family. So when you get to the job site today, if y'all having your safety meeting, somebody speak up and talk about mental fatigue and micro sleep. And I've seen this micro sleep. I've never heard the phrase until recently. If you got a cat on the job who's staring out into the mid distance, maybe it's not that he's just so disinterested in work. It may be that he's just mentally exhausted, and give him a chance, say something to him. Don't yell at him. Just say, hey man, you look like you're a little wore out. Why don't you, it's better to give a guy 5 or 10 minutes to go sit in the truck and have some water, some coffee, and get his head together, and then put him back to work. Sometimes just talking to him can snap him out of that mental malaise and get him back on the right track. So keep your eye out for your coworkers and supervisors. Look out for your guys out there who seem to be staring off in the distance or distracted, because their productivity is not where it could be, and they could be a hazard to others, cause injury or equipment or material damages that's going to cost. So it's a lot cheaper to go ahead and call it out and address it, than to suffer some negative consequences of injury or material or equipment damage because of mental fatigue. So keep that stuff in mind. Now it's hot. It's going to be hot and it's going to be humid. It calls for afternoon rain every day, I think. It's set for a couple of days this week, but, you know, 5 of the 7 days lately here, and I'm in the southeastern region, and everybody knows about the humidity down here. And it's important that we know how to handle ourselves in this hot and humid weather. And that requires ample nutrition, or good nutrition and ample hydration. And good nutrition is plenty of fruits and vegetables and proteins, and not sugary snacks. I know those honey buns are good, man. I like them myself. But all you get from a sugary snack like that is a high, a sugar high, and then a crash. You don't need any crashes. You just need to stabilize your blood sugar. And I fight with that all the time. And as an older guy, you younger guys still have good physical health. And normally your doctrine, whatever your physical condition is, it's much better handling those loads. But over time, it will take its toll. And the same goes with the energy drinks, the monster drinks. Y'all stay away from that stuff as much as possible. Same thing. Now I drink coffee every day, and my wife can attest that some days I'll drink 2 cups of this coffee, and some days I won't drink any, or some days I won't drink but 1. It's because I'm hydrating all day with water. Now this one's a little empty, and I can go fill it up. I fill it up right there in the sink. I'm on a well. I don't mind drinking well water. But I drink at least 1 of those a day, sometimes as many as 2 or 3. It depends on what kind of work I'm doing. So, guys, it's hot, so stay hydrated and stay away from excess sugar and caffeine. You'll make it, believe it or not. These big energy drink companies out there, Monster and Red Bull, look, they target you guys, and you know, I could get sued for saying it, but they target you guys. They advertise all the coolest stuff in the world, and brand cool stuff, and give people who do cool stuff a great deal of money so that you see it and say, hey, that's cool. And sometimes it has a place and a time, but not on a job site, and not when you're doing cool and dangerous stuff. Hey, let me ask you this question. Them Red Bull boys that flying them airplanes around them pylons at super speeds, you think they're hyped up on Red Bull? Put your answer in the comments. Put your answer in the comments if you think them guys is all jacked up on that Red Bull that's painted all over the side of their airplane, or them monster trucks. You think them drivers out there operating that equipment, balancing them big trucks on their front wheels or back wheels, you think they're hyped up on them monsters? You can put your comments down below. I'd like to hear what you think about that. Anyway, I believe in free enterprise. I believe in freedom of speech, and I believe in opinions. Anyway, let's see here. But hydration, nutrition, most important thing you can do to your body. Is a field guy. you need to be drinking, in this heat, you need to be drinking 6 or 8 of them regular water bottles, not those short ones, but the 16 ounces. You probably need to be drinking 6 or 8 of those every day, every day. And then along with that, if you're doing a good job and you're drinking water, lots of water, and you're drinking 6 or 8 bottles of water a day, that's good. But the downside to that is make sure you drink them. Don't waste them. Your employer is required to provide that water for you. And it does come in an expense. If you've got 20 guys on a job and they're drinking their 6 or 8 bottles, that's 60 or 80 bottles. That's 3 cases of water a day. And for you to drink half of one and throw it on the ground, number one, you're not being respectful of your employer. Number two, you're creating a hazard. I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys, including me, step on one of them half empty water bottles with a lid on it and have my feet roll right out from under me. Matter of fact, as a safety guy, I got to be pretty much an expert of standing on one of those things and taking the other foot and kicking it and twisting that top off and flattening that thing and picking it up and throwing it away. But the biggest suggestion is drink that water. That's what it's for. Drink that water. That's good for you. And if you're feeling thirsty, you're already too late. If you're feeling thirsty, you're already too late. So, challenges on the job site. We just spent a great deal of time talking about the excessive heat. And another one, and I'm going to talk about it. And I've been practicing Spanish for a long time, at least 20, 25 years. And I still hadn't learned what I should. I'm not proficient. And I work with a lot of guys who are Spanish speaking. And I make every effort to communicate with them effectively. But the one thing I do when I have a safety meeting or any kind of coming together is I appoint a translator. If somebody want to volunteer to translate for me this morning, and they're mostly young guys who have been in the country all their life and gone to school, they'll step up because they speak English at school and Spanish at home. And, but still, we must learn to make sure that our communications are understood. And that's a big challenge still today. I've had supervisors in the field and they stand there and give their safety talk in the morning and act like they're the most important thing, and everybody's paying attention to them, and half the crew doesn't speak Spanish and all he's speaking is English. I mean, half the crew don't speak English and all he's speaking is English. And I'll address that with them, and I'll set the example, and I'll say, who here understands, who's bilingual? And they'll step up, and I said, ask these guys if they understood what this supervisor just talked about. And it's kind of calling the supervisor out, but I think that's an important thing to do. So, especially when it comes to hazards on the job, if there's something that involves you got to have respiratory protection or something like that, and you're standing there as a supervisor and half your crew speaks Spanish only or rudimentary English, and you're going through all this technical stuff and not using a translator, man, you're putting people at risk. So take that into account. And if you find somebody who's a good translator, turn him into a leader. Make sure that that he goes around and that you use him to make sure that people understand what's going on. And you know, I've worked with several companies, and then years later, I've come back into those companies, and that philosophy, I see that expressed in terms of these young men have taken on leadership roles, and they're foremen and supervisors themselves in the field, and that is a proud moment for me. So make a proud moment for yourself by including all your men, and make sure you're using proper communication techniques and getting everything translated, uh, so that everybody understands that. Also, make sure you're inspecting your equipment on a daily basis, guys. If you've got inbound equipment, document it. I talk about this a lot. Sunbelt's not opposed to charging you damages for equipment that's coming into your job site that they didn't properly document on the outbound from a previous contractor. I think I talked about it last week on a couple different incidences here where I had a piece of equipment on one job site and noted it as being damaged, bent quarter panel, or AC not working, or the fuel tank not full. And then I had it moved from one job site to another, one of my job sites, and documented the same damages coming from another job site by the superintendent on the new job site. And when I get the bill from the rental company, I'm not going to call them out. All of them probably do it, intentional or not. They billed me for damages on both jobs. The first one and the second one. Their driver documented it or whatever, or the first one failed to document it and the second one did document it. But I've had damages charged out to both jobs, and I had to go back in, and this is important why you managers review your bills, review your invoices, because more than once I've been double charged for damages that for equipment that appeared on my job sites already damaged or not full of fuel, or a leaking hydraulic, or AC not working, or a track bent, or something, a flat tire, whatever. So inspect your equipment when it comes on your job site, even if it came from your brother on another job site. Inspect it when it comes onto your job site, because that damage will be billed out to your job, and that reduces your productivity, reduces your profitability, and it makes you look like you're not paying attention. You don't want that to happen. You want to show that you're operating a professional job site. Let's see. Anybody got any good jokes? I told one the other day. I was at the pharmacy. It's a clean joke, so if y'all got kids or grandkids, you can tell them this. So, deputy sheriff's on patrol, and all of a sudden this guy rolls by, and he's got 100 penguins in his automobile with him. So he hits the lights, turns around, chases the fellow down, pulls him over. And guy sitting there with 100 penguins. And he says, "Man, what in the world are you doing with all these? Man, this is crazy." He says, "You need to take these things to the zoo where they belong. This is a hazard to you, and it ain't good on the penguins. You need to take them to the zoo." And went on his way, just gave him a warning. A couple days later, he sitting in the same spot, and the same old fellow shoots by him, and there's 100 penguins in the car again, and they're all wearing sunglasses. He wheels around and chases him down, pulls him over. He says, Man, what are you doing? I thought I told you to take these things to the zoo where they belong. And he says, well, I did. And we had such a good time at the zoo, we're going to the beach today. 5-year-olds love that one. 4.5, 5-year-olds love that one. I got one for you. Which side of the turkey has the most feathers? Come on, put it in the comments, somebody. Back in. Right side. Okay. The side of the turkey that has the most feathers is the outside of the turkey. God, don't y'all know nothing? Y'all hold on a minute. I need a drink of coffee. And a fresh dip. Y'all done got all my dip wore out. Let's see. And it is 5:35 in the morning. We've been talking with each other for 35 minutes, 36 minutes now. And it's been a joy. I wish somebody was on here. I hadn't seen any viewers. I guess nobody's discovered me yet. One of these days I'll get discovered, but until then, I'm going to sit here every Monday morning at 5 a.m. and unless I'm on a job or something. Now, 3 weeks ago, I had an opportunity to go lend a hand on a power plant demolition. Oh, I still did it because I didn't leave till 8 o'clock in the morning. They called me. I'm doing my regular Monday thing. By 8 o'clock in the morning, old boy calls me and says, hey, man, can you help me out? And I said, yeah, I can help you out. And he gave me some details, and he said, but I need you there this afternoon. I said, man, it'll help if you give me a little heads up. But I got over there and did a little transition with the guy I was helping out or watching his position while he had to go do some other training or something. And I really enjoyed that because I had an opportunity to get with some guys and visit with some guys that I hadn't seen in 5 years. And some of them had jumped up the ranks, and some of them are still doing the same old thing. And most of all, they were happy. And some of them weren't there anymore, and they moved along. And I'd inquire. Some of them had found a better opportunity, and they had moved along. And some of them didn't take advantage of their opportunity and were moved along. But overall, it was a wonderful experience. And it's a fairly large company. I won't mention her name because, they might say, hey, don't be talking about me, you sorry, so. And it might embarrass them if I told them if I let the world know that who I was working for, this guy was working for them. What? Him? Anyway, I'll respect them. But regardless of whether they enjoyed having me there, I enjoyed being there, and I appreciate the opportunity. And I'm grateful for it. More than the money, man, I enjoyed being there. Anyway, all right, this coming up this week, guys, I've got I'm going to be talking about later this week. I need to work on it some more. I'm going to be talking about work zone safety. Heavy equipment, trucks and stuff like that moving along. I'll be talking about that. I'll be developing a toolbox safety talk. And the other channel I've got is Middleclassbubba. This one is Middle Class Bubba too, but the other one is 2 words, Middle Class space Bubba, and this one's just Middle Class Bubba altogether. Like the email address. And feel free to anytime you need any information or got some questions or want to make a comment, you can contact me either through the YouTube or you can send me an email, and we'll hash it out. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be talking about this week. Yeah, you know, if you're on a road project, man, you got them darn old cars whizzing by it. You know, you post a lower speed limit, but them fools don't care nothing about no posting, no signs, no hazards. They're like a racehorse. They got them blinders on, and they only see one place where they're going, and they're already late. They not like you. They didn't plan ahead. They cut it close. They're like my old ex-wife. You got to be somewhere at 7 o'clock. She thinks that's what time you're supposed to leave the house. Don't matter if it's an hour away or not. They're oblivious. Most people are oblivious to what's going on around them. They just are not aware. And when you're on a construction site, if you're on a roadway construction site, you got to be aware of their oblivion and make adjustments and look out for them. Even if you're not on a road job, on a job site, you're directing a crane load, you're spotting a truck that's backing in, you got 100 beepers, people, equipment moving and backing and noise and all this stuff on the job site. And everybody's, trying to pay attention to what's going on. And some guy who comes in who's not paying attention, all of a sudden, one crazy delivery guy can screw up a whole lot of work because he's not paying attention to what's going on. He just goes flying into the first guy he sees. And anyway, so that's what we'll be talking about I'll be talking about this week. And if you ever need an idea for a toolbox safety topic, go to my other channel and give you some ideas and give you some ways to present the information. You can copy me. I don't care. As long as you get it out there. Oh, excuse me. I need to make a note. Something I got to do today. I'm a commercial drone pilot, and I got 3 drones. And part of that responsibility is I've got to keep my drone's registration up to date. And today, I got to do that. And there was something else. And I'm sorry I had to do that, but I didn't need to forget. But anyway, I got to register to the drones today. What subject were we on? Toolbox safety topics. Yeah. So be sure, and if you need a topic, check that out. The other YouTube channel, and be sure and give me comments on it. Let's talk about taking a moment for gratefulness. I do this live stream on Monday mornings at 5 to 6. Well, the reason I do it is I could do it later, but I got some things that I like to do. And one of those things I like to do at 6 o'clock on Monday mornings is listen to a radio show, and it's on the Patriot Show. It's Breitbart Daily, and the host is Mike Slater. And every Monday morning for the first half hour of his show, he has a segment where he talks about being grateful. And people call in, it's an interaction thing, but it's a good thing that every day that we find something to be grateful for. And it's easy to come up with something. I could say, and I am, that I'm grateful to have this opportunity to present myself to anybody who may eventually watch this live stream at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have this thought to want to do this. I'm grateful for the opportunity to for YouTube. YouTube has given me a platform where it costs me a minimum investment. This is just a web camera, some kind of web camera and some lights, and I have an office and some audio equipment, and I can sit here and come to you guys for minimum investment and learn a new skill set. And YouTube gives me an opportunity to exercise it, whether I have any viewers or not. I can sit here and look at myself giving this, and that's cool with me. Cool with me. I may never have a viewer, but my skill sets as far as lighting and videography and using software to present this stuff, it's a real thing. Regardless of whether I have anybody watching it, I'm still doing the thing. Okay. It in 100 years, 1,000 years, when they cracked the magic of the crystals where we stored all our information, and they figured out that we somehow got all this, and some knucklehead in 1,000 years might scroll by me and see me and look at me and go, what kind of fool is he? And have a body of work that's out there, and give them insight into how we thought and what we thought in a different time and a different place. And we have that opportunity right here, right now, for you to see what I'm all about, and I get to hear and see what you're all about. But anyway, that's something to be truly grateful for. And I think we should take full advantage of that. This past week, I did another video, and it was and the title of it was change your mindset and change your future. And your future is based on how you think. How you react to the world around you dictates what your future will look like. And you are the person who's in charge of what you think. So as you move through life, as you move through this day, start right now, start today, and envision yourself as what you want to be in the future. And start thinking. As you think, your mind, your subconscious mind is a wonderful thing, but it takes training. You have to train yourself on how you want to be. And that's a conscious thought. You have to start consciously determining who you want to be and telling yourself every day who you want to be. And your subconscious mind will start to direct you on autopilot through times where you can't be cognizant, or times that you can't be constantly thinking of what you want to be. Now, in turn, your conscious mind has to start listening to your subconscious mind. Do you need specialized knowledge for what you're doing? Or do you need specialized knowledge for what you want to be in the future? You want to be a finished carpenter? What kind of tools do you need? What kind of training? Do you need to know mathematics? Do you have to know angles, how to set saw? What if you want to be a engineer? You're a young man and you're in the construction field. You want to be an architect. You've got to start imagining yourself as an architect. And then what do you need to know to be an architect? What do you need to know about engineering? What do you need to know about mathematics? And start pursuing that. So many people imagine themselves wanting to be something or another, but they never put in the effort. And that is what is required, an effort. Yes, you have to go beyond the 8-hour workday in raising a family. You have to give up the cervezas. You have to give up a lot of things, and concentrate on who you want to be. Because the odds are in 10 years or 5 years, you're still going to be here. Now, fate may take you and it won't matter. But if you are here, what have you planned for? What have you envisioned for yourself? And what are you doing to fulfill that vision? So that's called gratitude and grit. And it takes grit. You think getting up early in the morning and getting to work takes grit? Try getting up early in the morning, working, and then studying and putting an effort into your future. Now that takes grit. On the other hand, if you don't, in 5 years, more than likely, you'll still be doing exactly what you're doing now. Just so y'all know, I'm on Starlink, and it'll glitch out every now and then, but I'm way up in the mountains. Way up in the mountains. And Starlink, every now and then, you know, as satellites are flying by and my little dish is pointed up, it may miss a connection every now and then, and another satellite fly by and we'll pick it back up. But I just want you to know, if you see a glitch every now and then, that's what's going on. And I am grateful for Starlink, because you would not believe what I had before. It used to be called, oh man, it went through several different names, and they'd promise you the world, man. A bunch of, I wish I could remember their name, because I'd call them out for their poor performance. That's I don't even remember the name of it anymore. And I wish I did, because I'd call them out. They were taking millions of dollars in this rural internet business, and they weren't doing shit but living high on the hog and not providing the service anyway. Anyway, you know, I got a guy that commented the other day that, you know, he's just working like a one-legged fool, a one-armed man in a paper hanging, and he was just talking about how hard he was working, and he just felt like he wasn't being appreciated. And I told him, I said, young man, I said, whether you feel like you're being fully appreciated or fully compensated for what you do is based on what you think. And if your current employer don't think you're worth more than what you think you're worth, then it's your opportunity to look around and talk to other people who are looking for somebody or someone who has your abilities and see what they pay, and develop relationships, not only with just that one individual, but with multiple individuals. And if you find a better opportunity, it's your responsibility to take it. And eventually he did. And boy, the noise that other outfit was making when he bailed out on them, boy, they went from good to what do you mean to what can we do to. And he told them, we went through a long period of time where I was trying to tell you and you didn't seem to care. You thought you had some magical hold on me, but anything you offer now is not worth. Number one, you could have offered it and you didn't. And number two, if I took it now, then you would always be angry and feel like I've held you hostage. So anyway, that's a shout out to him, because that took quite a bit of courage. CT, I'll call you CT instead of calling your name. That took quite a bit of courage for him to make that leap, because he's a young man and, with a wife, and I believe he's got a niece living with him and 2 or 3 children of his own. So he's got a great deal of responsibility. So to make that leap of faith, and it's turned out well for him, and I'm proud of him. But anyway, that's a shout out, and it can happen for you. And you don't think that you're trapped with what you're doing and who you're doing it with. If you spent your time working hard and developing your skill sets and you don't feel like you're being rewarded, look around. Someone will pay you for those skill sets. Now, just don't say it and don't do it. You better be able to back them words up with action. That's the only thing I got to say. Anyway, so we're about to wrap this thing up. I have jabber-jawed for almost a solid hour. I've got a couple more minutes left. I'm a safety guy, but in that safety role, I've always thought that my job is to teach leadership. You got to be a leader. And another young man out of Tennessee who's taken a position in Texas, he called me. He was looking for advice. I said, son, you can learn all the safety aspects and you can do all this, but more than anything, every company that I know of, every government, every industry is looking for the technical stuff, but more than that, they're looking for leadership. So make being a leader. Now, leaders aren't born, they're developed. And if you want to be a leader, you develop your leadership skills. And there's all kinds of books on that, but it's a mindset. Get your mindset together and work on being a leader, regardless of whether you're turning a wrench or driving a truck or digging dirt. Be a leader. And that will take you a lot further than any other skill set you may have, the leadership role. Anyway, it looks like we're out of time. Before we go, I'd like to remind you, like I do at the conclusion of every video, every live stream that I have, is have a grateful day.